ingredients of our reality to the best we currently understand. We want a story. Best would be a single story that explains them, that tells us what they are, that instead of making us look at them this way as a string of digits, which doesn't mean anything to any of us, we look at them in a way that does mean something to us. It still says this, confirms this, but look at them in a way that we can pierce. Because, I don't know, maybe you can, but when I stare at a string of digits, that doesn't mean anything to me. Okay. So, the concepts of nature is the pattern we want to explore. We want to find the pattern in the concepts of nature, and we have now already come up with a method that allows us to do that. We found that the entire structure is talking about a two-part balance on the outside. That four-dimensional hyperbolic space-time that Einstein was keying us into is bounded by a two-dimensional bound and another two-dimensional bound. One of them is much larger than the other. Okay, that's where the four dimensions come from. The big piece has a primary action, P for primary in this case, and a primary set of boundaries. So the balance is always made from intersection between the big and the small, and the primary with the big one. Okay, the one plus or minus some terminal action for the small one, and there's not a variable option for the terminal boundaries. It's always the same ones inside this system. It's where the system inverts on itself to begin with. So every constant of nature now, using this one prescription, using this one assumption that the constants of nature are being applied to a system that's two-part. Okay, it's binomial. It's made up of two different kinds of things. And one of those things is much, much, much smaller than the other, because this number is 1 times 10 to the negative 7, but it still plays a role. And all of them have just this two-part structure. Now, where does this boundary come from? What does that symbol even mean? It's the symbol we use maybe for field in Chinese, so field theory, for the construction of our external field. And it's equal to the Planck length times the Planck mass over the Planck charge squared. Okay, so using this one prescription, this one assumption that every constant of nature is applied, is speaking about a system under balance, and that balance is two-part under this construction. To solve for the very specific constant of nature now, we just need to resolve these three numbers. We just need to somehow translate this constant, this string of digits, and resolve these three numbers. And I'm claiming that we can do that now using this prescription for every single constant of nature.